Yeah. All right. So pardon me, y'all. I was playing with my microphone. That sounds crazy, right? But for real, though, I was toying with my microphone a bit, so just got to double check to make sure the mic is working correctly. It's bugging out not too long ago. All right. So Victoria says this: I cannot fathom how Pisces can be seen as the most evolved sign, etc., especially the women. I see them as so good, damn unstable, or maybe that's no good, damn unstable, manipulative, and some even have strange borderline hitting their men and stuff. Like they are the type who creates this fake Instagram account promoting this spiritual stuff, but in reality they are just shallow, insecure souls. Is it that Rasta hair and alternative weird clothes that that maybe make them so spiritual? And then she sighs. That's funny. But this is something that I want to touch on a bit. Because I can empathize. I'm a Pisces myself, so in this instance, I'm going to defend Pisces, and I'm going to admit and cop to some of the shit that Victoria's actually saying here. It may be a little bit too fixed. However, I'm just going to give my description of what's being said here, or, why she sees Pisces in this type of light. So first, let me begin with, okay, seen as the most evolved sign and why. All right, the reason, first, on a standard level, the reason why Pisces is considered to be this evolved sign is because they're the sum of all parts. So when you understand, well, first of all, when you understand astrology, right? Because it's one thing to hear about it or to seek your horoscope every day, but to know all of astrology and not just focus on your particular sign or you and your spouse's sign is a big deal. There's an understanding of the whole ordeal. You know what I mean? So now just imagine like astrologers know this, but just imagine a person who embodies the whole ordeal, right? It's a big thing. Like, so if it's naturally a big thing, a person who embodies this is actually a big thing. Now, as far as being unstable, right? According to your element, you're going to find Pisces unstable. So if you're an earth element, you come from an earth element, you're going to find Pisces unstable. If you come from an air element, you're going to find Pisces unstable. If you come from a fire element, you're going to find Pisces unstable. At the same time, Pisces is going to look at you as unstable as well because of your element, right? So it's the elemental qualities that really makes Pisces, unstable. And, I say this often, people sketch Pisces as really awful when it comes to the zodiac. You know what I'm saying? You got to find like these deep astrologers, these astrologers who have deep understanding to actually articulate what a Pisces is truly comprised of, right? But for the most part, and I think it's maybe for satire or for sensationalizing, excuse me, that a lot of these horoscopes write Pisces off as some like, psychopath that has mental problems and has no idea what's going on in the world, right? But again, let's get back to what is being said here is that, the unstable part. So it's like this, right? It's like a Pisces, for example, like a Pisces just can't wait for there to like truly be a trade war to where like people can't rely on water and boats to ship goods and services or resources to wherever your neighborhood is. Like some Pisces low key can't wait for some shit like that to happen. It's because their water element gets heavily emphasized then, right? Like some people, especially if you live on islands, like you probably don't really take into consideration how much of your life is valued because of things that are like not grown in your country or not manufactured in your country. It's not until that mechanism is taken away from you that you understand the importance of water, right? So it's like even here, like, we just can't wait for you to not be able to get your fucking goji berries from China or whatever the case may be. And you know what? Now, that's probably a poor example because goji berries are very healthy for you. But let's say like you like your pig slaughtered in fucking Africa and shipped over here, right? Like you're this real fucking snooty type of person. And you got to have your pig slaughtered in Africa and brought here, right? And you can't get it here all of a sudden because there's a trade war, there's a trade deficit going on. Like Pisces, we're gonna start laughing at you, right? Because now you understand maritime law. Now you understand the importance of the Navy, the Coast Guard. Now you understand the importance of boats and making relationships in foreign lands ruled by a 12th house, ruled by Pisces. You understand the importance now because now you just can't have pork chops from Africa anymore. So you see where I'm going with this? It's not when you put the elements of astrology and you attach them to these signs, you start to understand them better and understand why you see them as unstable, right? Especially when it comes to earth elements, right? So one thing about this is when society brackets Pisces, there's going to be an issue, right? So it's just like, everybody has to work. And if Pisces doesn't work, Pisces is lazy and doesn't know what the fuck is going on in the universe. And Pisces is just going to be like, no, you don't know what the fuck is going on in the universe because you're a pussy. Like, the bottom line is you have been in belief that you should work anywhere from 8 to 12 hours a day. And you should be paid this amount of money and this, that, and the third. When a Pisces is just like, no, I'm not doing the fucking job because they're paying me $9.50. They're offering me $9.50 an hour and my rent is $17.50 a fucking month. So I'd rather strike out doing whatever I'm doing, largely associated with my dream or whatever the case may be, right? I'd rather strike out that type of way than to actually strike out on someone else's accord because everyone else is doing it, right? So all of the earth elements, and this is like air signs can be under the earth element too, right? Oh, you got to come to work every day. You got to go to the metropolitan area in order to work and, fill out these applications because these people are always hiring and you have to work. You must have a job. You must be, how is he going to eat? Well, have you eaten? This is what a Pisces say. Have you eaten today? Yeah. Okay. Then have you ever tried not working for that establishment and have you made it? And if you've never tried it and if you haven't, like, you just don't know. So this is a part of the reason why you may find me as a Pisces unstable, and not just saying me, but Pisces in general, why you may find them to be unstable is because basically categorizing a Pisces, you're going to find issues when you try to categorize stuff with a Pisces. People hate this about Pisces, and I know it, but I'm just keeping it official with you of why you perceive Pisces to be this way. Now, don't get it twisted though. Pisces circumstances will force, and these circumstances are a lot, I wouldn't give a significant amount to it, but these circumstances can be self-inflicted. That Pisces find themselves in circumstances to where it causes them to go against their beliefs. So this whole thing about the roster thing, right? When you're like, what is it, the roster and the tie-dyed shirts, or however you pronounced it, right? Makes them, this all high, mighty type of individual, but then all of a sudden they become contradictive in what they do, and all of a sudden now they're the total opposite, right? So what happens is Pisces can find themselves in circumstantial situations to where they are forced to transform, right? And a lot of this has to do with 8th house energy. 8th house energy deals with extremities and transformations, right? In order to grow, you have to face something, some type of adversity, right? Pisces doesn't necessarily favor this part of life either because they already feel fully evolved naturally, right? Like, I don't gotta go through shit. I already went through everything. I'm all of you. You know what I mean? Like, fuck out of here. I can just sit in this chair and talk my shit, right? Until a circumstance comes, and then the Pisces is like, oh shit, I gotta get out of this chair and I gotta fucking do something because my survival depends on it, right? So I'll give you an example, myself included, right? Once upon a time, I was in a situation to where I had like 45 cents on a credit card, right? And I had no food in the house. I had nothing but this 45 cents. Now I had a check on the way, right? But that check was a stretch. Like, I really had a couple of days maybe before this check would reach me, right? So I pushed it to the exact limit, because a Pisces can do something like this. A Pisces can gather up a nest egg of money and like drop off of the radar, because they don't want to be categorized. They don't want to be under the structure. Don't want to be put in a bracket. So they'll think like, oh, okay, I can put this money to the side, and then I can get away from all of you motherfuckers and isolate and be by myself and take care of myself, and don't need to be with any of you motherfuckers. It's part of isolation. It's part of the 12th house, right? Not to need anyone, to be the lone wolf. So here it is. I'm facing this adversity. I'm like, oh shit, I'm fucked. Like, I probably got to drink water for the next 2 days. Like, this is how fucking close to the limit I pushed this, right? In my hiatus, or whatever the case may be. And you know, if you know anything about credit cards and stuff like that, like, you can't swipe with 45 cents. Like, the transaction fee is actually more than that. I believe it's like a fucking $5 limit wherever the stores were around my way at that time. So I'm pretty much fucked, right? So I get out of my seat, I get out of my bed, right? I like my bed. I get out of my bed and I take a walk. I'm like, fuck it, I just gotta walk this shit off. You know what I'm saying? And sure enough, I'm walking down a block, money starts blowing past my fucking feet, maybe about 3 blocks into my walk. And I'm like, oh shit, it's like $2. So I kid you not, I chase after this $2. I know I need this fucking $2, right? I chase after this $2. Boom, I grab it. Boom, I look around, nobody's looking. So something tells me, like, you know what, just keep going in the direction of where this wind is blowing, or where the wind is blowing from, and see if there's any more money around. So I went and I followed the path, and sure enough, near the curb, it was a $5 bill folded up right next to the curb. So now I got $7 in my pocket. I got enough food to last me until my money arrived. Boom, I survived, right? So yeah, this is a situation that Pisces can find themselves in that is circumstantial, to where they may, like, if a Pisces could follow a strict diet, right, and they on this all high and mighty bullshit, right? Oh, you might see it as bullshit, but it's real true shit. Like, oh, I'm a vegan now. Like, get the fuck away from me with all those pork chops from Africa, right? And then all of a sudden, like, Pisces ends up in fucking jail, right? And they're fucking starving because they've been in the bullpen therapy for like 3 days straight. They're fucking starving with only, you know, that bologna sandwich, or even just the hard butter bagel with that sip of coffee, and it's just like, fuck, I can't wait to eat. And then you get into jail, you get into population, and it's fucking hot dog night. You know what I'm saying? And then Pisces is just like, well, you know what, man? Fuck this, because I'm not going to die in here. You know what I'm saying? And I got to, like, do a few push-ups or whatever the case may be. I got to, you know, it's jail time. So, fuck it. They eat the hot dogs. And all of a sudden, you know, they're not a vegan anymore. You know what I'm saying? So they had to go against their beliefs for survival mechanisms. And which brings me to another thing. Being the weakest person in the room can transform Pisces into the strongest person in the room. So what I mean by this is, a lot of the times Pisces are not the suspecting type. You know what I'm saying? Like, you may interact with a Pisces, or you may not even interact with a Pisces at all, but you may watch them and be like, oh, you know, this person is nice, or this person is, you know, this person doesn't bother anybody, or this person is harmless, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So you may find it upon yourself to become comfortable in viewing the Pisces this way. And trust me when I tell you, the Pisces don't even have to talk to you to understand that you probably see them that way anyway. You know what I'm saying? Pisces develop high tolerance levels as well. You know what I'm saying? But if you find in that instance that you're going to, like, play this Pisces, their reaction or their response to that is going to turn into strength. So it's kind of like Pisces is minding their own business, right? They're not bothering anybody. They're not fucking with anybody. They're just doing them. And then you notice them. So it's like Pisces are like 75% not here, 25% here. You know, we're in fucking La La Land and shit. And then it's just like, you happen to be the one who wants to point us out and notice us. Like, oh, look, Pisces is not working again. Or, you know, Pisces thinks it's this. Pisces thinks she's that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, you see me, right? So the response is like, oh, you see me. You pointing me out, right? So then they might just snap on you and say something very rude to you and destroy you with a few words. And now your friends are fucking laughing at you, right? They're all laughing at you. And they're like, oh, shit, look. Why? Because the Pisces is the least suspecting, right? They're not the person that you would suspect to just claw at you and twist your guts apart, right? But you play yourself. and you come at Pisces like that, and then they just rip you to shreds, and now you know better, right? And not only that, now your friends even know better. Like, even though they weren't the ones who were messing with Pisces, now they even know, like, I probably should think twice before even trying that dude or that woman, because, you know, then you get the rap for being a psychopath. You know what I'm saying? And it's really just because you're not used to seeing that. Like, they're not always loud people. They're not the loudest people in a room. You know what I'm saying? You ever seen the loudest person in the room get beat the fuck up? Which brings me to another thing of, like, why Pisces be beating people up, or why Pisces become violent. So I've seen that. So when you say, you know, like, you've seen some of the women beat up on their men and stuff like that, and you know, I've seen that happen as well. I've seen Pisces women reach that point. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you wanted to marry a porn star, but, you know, but that's your wife. You know what I'm saying? So when you fuck up the money, she's gonna scream at you. She's gonna yell at you. She's gonna turn into a psychopath. If you do this wrong, if you do that wrong, you know, you got all of the elements of a wife. You know what I'm saying? So kind of get what you ask for. But still, that's no excuse to beat up on people. But it comes to, again, what I was discussing about Pisces being the weakest person in the room makes them the strongest person in the room, because this high tolerance level allows people to do stuff, to say stuff, and, you know, freely. We want you to be who the fuck you are, right? But at the same time, there's gonna come a time where the Pisces is gonna let you know, like, you know, I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that's cool. You know what I'm saying? And the way that they say it, or the way that they show that they think that it's not cool, maybe not be strong enough for that person, or strong enough for you to understand what they said to the point that they mean it. Like, you need to actually be showed. So you just keep doing it and keep doing it. But mind you, this Pisces told you, like, in some type of form or fashion, later on, after you kept doing it, like, look, I don't think that's such a good idea. I don't think you should handle me that way. You know what I mean? You keep doing it because you're comfortable. You might be the Pisces spouse, like you're saying, right? And then that day comes when they beat you up. You know, like, I kid you not, I know a woman, close friend of mine, she fights so well, like, she beats men up. You know what I'm saying? It's the sweetest person. It's the sweetest soul, I kid you not. You know what I'm saying? Very generous, will give you the shirt off their back, will go all out for you, devoted when it comes to passion and, you know, all of that good stuff, right? But people somehow find a way to do people like that wrong, or do people like that greasy. And it's, when this happens, a Pisces response is just beat you up. Like, it's just to fight, because, like I said, when you're the weakest person in the room, and I when I say that, I mean it's because, you know, the majority, when you compare and contrast to Pisces, it's like air and fire signs, like, they're more aggressive, can be, right? So a Pisces who doesn't have that much fire or that much air in their chart, they're not as aggressive. So you would think that you can take advantage of this Pisces at any given time, because you got to remember, this is a dispersed sign. You know what I'm saying? This is a scattered sign that embodies all 12 different signs. So they're not the most stable and focused and concentrated in one area as another person would be. So when you show some type of opposition to this person, they already know, Pisces already knows that they don't have many tactics in that very instance that can defeat you. So a response will be, all right, I'm just gonna beat your ass now. You know what I'm saying? Because what else I'm gonna do? I let you do this for how long? You know what I'm saying? You thought I was pussy for how long? You know what I'm saying? And now, fuck it, I might as well just beat you up. Like my father used to tell me, right? If you're about to get jumped, like, run, first of all, right? If there's 50 other dudes and they're trying to beat you up, run. That's number one. Do not stand there and take an ass whooping from all of these people, because you don't want to look like a sucker. But on your way out, hit a motherfucker and hit them as hard as you possibly can, right? Or if they do jump you in, you know, just grab one of them and beat them so badly on your way down to the ground that it doesn't matter how many times you're getting hit. Like, bite their face, everything. Like, there's no holds barred. Like, destroy this one person, so by the time that they get up, they're all going to be laughing at him. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just like, yo, Pisces are put in these situations to where they just got to beat your ass, yo. There's no other real alternative, because that's the flaw of the human condition. Like, humans are stupid, And Pisces knows this, and you know, they do their best to try to interact with others in harmony, the way that their water element suggests, not through these earth constructs and restraints. Like, you ever seen a person walk in a club, they can't dance? Like, what the fuck are you doing in a club when music is playing and you don't dance? That's that earthy shit, right? Like, oh no, I'm too rigid, I'm too Capricornish to you know, participate in these festivities. Then don't go to the fucking club. Like, you shouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how like Pisces sees it. Like, interaction with Venus being exalted in Pisces, we're looking at it like, yo, speak when spoken to. You know what I'm saying? Wait your turn. Jump in, jump out. Play double dutch. Don't be abrasive and be like, oh, you're gonna eat that, and like hover over my food or something like that when you're talking to me or something like that. Like, you for real? Now I'm gonna beat your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not crazy. That's not being a psychopath. That's what I'm about to get into next. That's being the deliverer of karma, right? And this is another thing that Pisces does not want to do. I'm gonna give you an example. Like, someone that I used to be close to, pretty much violated. You know what I'm saying? And you know, for years, you know, I just departed from this person. Something a Pisces will do eventually, right after getting rolled on, and be like, all right, you know what, this really is not a winning situation for me. Let me separate from this person or these people. So I did that, right? And later on in life, this person somehow needs me again, right? Ideal, typical Pisces shit, right? This person needs me in their life for some reason, whether it's emotional, social, financial, whatever the case may be, right? And even after all of this time passes by and everything, whatever the case may be, this person couldn't even apologize correctly to me. You know what I'm saying? And they even behaved in a way that they don't remember or can't recall what they've actually done. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, the Pisces, me investigating this person or what they've been through or whatever the case may be, understands that, you know what, karma has not ever came for this person yet. Like, I have a record of what this person continuously does, not even only to me, but to other people. And karma has not delivered the blow to this person yet. So what happens now? I am the deliverer of karma. So not just beating your ass with violence. Now it's just like, okay, I got to flip on you. And I got to be mean to you. I got to be like, another example. A woman I was just talking to, I told her, I checked, I said, yo, you so used to dudes eating out the palm of your hands because you're so fucking gorgeous that you haven't had a man tell you no probably ever. She was like, no, you're right. Like, I haven't. No, they haven't. And this is what I'm looking for, and this is what I'm looking for. And I'm like, bitch, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you're not getting it. And I don't care how you feel about it. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to contact me after this or nothing. Like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? This is not something I initially wanted to do. This is something that, it's like, I call it the creature. This is the Pisces creature. It's there. It exists. It resides right here, right? This is not something that we want to do, but it like nudges us and says, listen, you've got to do this. You have to do this. So if you ever like heard about people hearing voices and shit like that, it's kind of like that. It's like, you have to do this because this person is not going to learn. They haven't ever learned a lesson. And for whatever reason, people have not taught this person a lesson. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's going to sound weird, but it's kind of like we have to interfere and play God at this point. So we do it. And we are the deliverer of karma. And then it's just like, oh shit, Pisces, how'd you do that? Like, you're supposed to be this. You're supposed to be so evolved and stable. No, you're fucking unstable. You're a psychopath. You're not stable at all. Like, why would you do that? How would you do that? And the thing is, again, Pisces is the least suspecting to do this, but it's just like, well, you thought you was going to go throughout the whole world with no repercussions or consequences. You know, it's like when I was younger, like, I used to just stand up for people, for kids that used to be bullies. Like, I'll just interfere with the whole bullying process and just like flip on the bully. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? Why are you, like, get the fuck out of here? You know what I'm saying? You're not going to do that. And it's none of my business. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, fuck that. I'm being a deliverer of karma because my creature, like, nudged me, like, yo, take care of this for God or whatever your higher power or belief system is. You know what I'm saying? Because this person's an asshole and they need, they need to learn this. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people end up going to the military after they get their ass beat, and they become a better productive citizen, or a citizen that possesses discipline after that or something. You know what I'm saying? Something traumatic happens in their life, and then they turn a new leaf. And again, this is something that harmonious, all rose-colored glasses does not want to do, but they end up doing it because you think that they're pussy, right? And somewhere along the line, shallow and insecure souls, somewhere, I'm about to get to that right now, but somewhere along the line, somewhere in the world, somebody thinks you're a pussy right now too. You know what I'm saying? So you might like rush to pay the IRS and stuff like that, right? So like insecure souls, and when you're talking about Pisces, right, it can come from being not embraced in their natural state, that they become insecure. Flat out. Like, I'm just be honest with you. Like, a lot of this shit that you're saying is truth to it. You know what I'm saying? But this is why you should at least try to understand why. And this is not an excuse for anyone's behavior, but when you judge, you're being judged as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you try to fit me in a bracket, right, of Pisces, and categorize me, shelve me, box me, stamp me with a name or whatever the case may be, and me refraining from wanting to be in those brackets or boxes isolates me to a point where I'm lonely, right? Or I don't fit in, or I'm looked at as weird, or I'm looked at as the lone wolf, the black sheep, etc. You get the gist, right? Then in some aspects in the earth constructs in the world, I'm going to be displaced, right? It's just like eventually you got to come and associate and shake hands with someone so you can get through life, right? But Pisces will end up isolating and surviving for so long, then it's just like, fuck you, fuck all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need y'all. You know what I'm saying? So fuck that. You know what I'm saying? But it's until that Pisces or those Pisces reach the point of isolation to where they become troubled, maybe even depressed, to where it's like, look, I gotta get out, I gotta rub shoulders up because I'm lonely. You know what I'm saying? I want to interact with people. Even though humanity is a bunch of fucking dicks, I just gotta fucking feel something, right? I want to feel loved. I want to feel accepted. So it's when Pisces goes on with that notion of feeling insecure by being alone or being themselves, that they set themselves up to be these insecure souls. You understand what I'm saying? That they fall along the lines of the constructs that they're totally against naturally. They're not with that shit anyway. You know what I'm saying? But they feel insecure because they don't fit in, because they're not embraced. No one's saying, oh yeah, come over to the cool table, or what y'all think is cool anyway. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot of the reasons why you may see a Pisces seem insecure or whatever the case may be. It's because of that. So what makes Pisces spiritual, though, is their isolation. You know what I'm saying? So when you see them and they're in their all high mighty stature and, they're talking their shit, it's because they're not fucking associated with you. Or not personally, like, this is not a jab at you personally, but it's just like they're not associated with those guys over there. Those guys over there who are like punching each other in the dick and like doing goof bullshit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they can be seen or whatever the case may be. It's just like, that's where Pisces finds their strength at. You know what I'm saying? Another thing is decision making, right? Kind of like ostracizes them from the rest, because when it comes to making decisions, like 10 different decisions pop up in their head. So it's kind of like, what's that? The Equalizer? What's that movie with Denzel when he like presses his watch and he's like, in 60 seconds he figures out everything that he's going to do, and then he just boom executes that shit. It's kind of like how Pisces thinks, kind of, because like 10 different scenarios pop up in a Pisces head when it's time to make one decision. It's like they want to make the best decision. You know what I'm saying? So again, like you may rush to pay the IRS because you're scared of going to jail for not paying your taxes, right? So in the bigger scheme of things, the IRS thinks you're a pussy. You know what I'm saying? Pisces will find this out. Like, and myself included. Like, I remember one time I won a lawsuit, right? I won a lawsuit for a few thousand. And at the time I had owed like about $1,500 in debt, right? So me being like this whole good Samaritan, oh yeah, I'm gonna get my lawsuit money. I'm gonna pay all of my credit off so my credit score can be 750 again, or whatever the case may be, right? So this is what I did. I was in my 20s when this happened. So I did that, you know what I'm saying? Feel a little good Samaritan, whatever the case may be. But it wasn't until later on in life that I figured out that that wasn't the best decision to make. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because again, I'm in my 20s. I got a whole lot of life ahead of me, right? So I'm going to end up, if I take a gamble, if I take an educated guess as well, I'm going to end up getting my credit score back to where it needs to be anyway, because I got a lot more money to make, right? But I wasn't thinking this way at that time. I'm thinking, oh, let me be responsible. Let me be good, right? And again, those people looked at me like I'm a pussy. Like if they had all of the information beforehand, like, oh, this guy's about to get a lawsuit, or let's send him an email, or let's send him a letter in the mail stating how much he owes in credit. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's how they operate behind the scenes. So I opened the envelope, I look at it, and I was like, you know what? I am up a few thousand. Let me just clear this up. And then it's like, oh, dude, you could have saved some of that money. You could have put another portion of it in a CD account. You could have started your own business with this amount, and you could have had way more money instead of paying that $1,500 in credit off. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like I said, everybody's gonna think you're a pussy. Like a lot of the times, everything that we buy is inflated, right? And I only say that because the time limit that's on it. So it's like the shelf life, right? The of the cycle life of a item, like a iMac or whatever the case may be, right? You may pay $1,500 for an iMac, but you don't make your money back until when, right? It depends on the person, right? But if you, whatever you're using it for, like I got like 50 songs and music songs in a library, right? I haven't released any of them, right? Because if I was to do it now prematurely, it wouldn't work correctly. I've done that before. I've made that mistake, right? So I made that decision before. I made that mistake. I learned from it. I'm not doing it again. Now, there's a whole bunch of people who are in different elements in the universe, earth, air, fire, wherever they're at, right? And they're like, dude, you make great music. Put it out. Sell it. You should sell it. You should do it like this. You should get shows. You should do that. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm waiting until my audience gets bigger. I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting until my audience gets bigger so I can just press one button and then it all goes out to them. I have a greater chance of getting my fucking money back. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you can't tell these humans shit sometimes because they're living in their element, right? So a Pisces will say, okay, well, let me refrain from paying TuneCore. Let me refrain from paying, Apple, Google Play, You're just paying a whole bunch of people to be embraced or accepted in a industry or a culture or society who thinks you're pussy anyway. That's why they set up the prices and they set up the system in a way that it's set up, because you're a customer, right? You're a pussy. Like, you want to be known, you want to be a celebrity, or you want everybody to hear your music. So you go paying all of this money all over the place, and when it doesn't happen for you, you're all of a sudden this Pisces victim. No. Well, sometimes it happens. Like, everyone is subject to being a victim sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But my point is, when a Pisces understands this, again, circumstantial situations teach them lessons to where it's just like, fuck you, fuck off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we could look very unstable to an individual and be like, well, why don't you do this? And why don't you do it like that? Because everybody else is doing it. It's just like, see, that's why I'm not doing it. Like, you're just stop. Just fucking stop. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. It just was what it was. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, as far as being the most evolved sign, to come full circle back to the beginning of this discussion, again, it just comes through learning and having deep, great deep understanding is Pisces' number one asset. Understanding of all things. So again, someone in the world thinks you're pussy right now. So whatever you're doing, right, not just you, Victoria, but whoever's watching this, whatever you're doing right now on a regular basis and you believe is just so fucking normal and in style and has you in the cahoots with everybody and y'all are fucking linking arms and singing Kumbaya around the fire and shit, someone thinks you're a pussy. Like, whatever industry or whatever you keep buying, whether it's fucking Cheez-Its by the fucking box loads or fucking Pop Tarts, Capri Suns, someone thinks you're a pussy because you just keep on fucking doing it and you don't even realize that it's just fucking water and high fructose syrup and shit. You know what I'm saying? They think you're a pussy. So get over it. Get over yourselves. That's just Pisces. And that's just the way the fucking shit goes down. All right, I'm out.